two additional possible resolutions. One is, this would be resolution number 55 related to Art's request to transfer $8,000 from budget line 5130.4 snow removal to 5142.4 repair.
Just the opposite, numbers are
8,000, okay, so it's
from 5142.4,
That's the snow funds, right, Art?
okay,
that's snow removal fund, yeah.
Yeah, and you wanna transfer 8,051.30.4, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
for, what? Oh, I had, okay, so 5142 is snow removal.
Right.
Got it, okay. Thank you. So the, to move $8,000 from 5142.4 snow removal to 5130.4 repair. Do we have that motion?
I'll make a motion to transfer that.
A second?
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. So that's an actual resolution, as ugly as it is. There you go. Next is resolution number 50, it would be resolution number 56 of 2017. This would be to transfer $73,000 from fund balance to line 5130.2 equipment. And this would be related to a separate decision, which would authorize Art to purchase a pickup and a one-ton truck.
I'll make that motion. Transfer the 73,000.
I will second. Any discussion?
Just quickly, because I just want, I hate to always be the one that asks, but I need clarification before I go and say $3,000. I looked from our paperwork that we have in highway general fund $347,000, is that correct?
This would be, it would be the highway fund balance.
Okay,
to be
so,
clear.
so it's not, we're not taking out a general
Not from general
fund,
fund.
we're taking out a highway, the balance that's in the highway fund, is that correct?
Right.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better, because I didn't want to take out a general fund and put it into highway and leave the money from highway. Okay, and I was just looking at, here it is, okay. So, yeah, we have 497,266, so you want to take 73,000 out of that and put it into his equipment line, is that what I'm getting?
That's the resolution.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that, Madam Supervisor, okay.
Any other discussion?
Who made the second? I didn't get it.
I did.
Oh, you, sorry.
Ready to call the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So that's the resolution. Then related, we need a motion to authorize Art to purchase a crew cab for no more than $40,000. Less trade of 39,000, less a trade of 14,000, and purchase a one-ton truck for 60,000, less a trade of at least 13,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Could we amend the trade to either be trade or auction?
Yeah, let's do, I'm sorry, yes, can we do
Yeah,
that?
that's the intention.
Okay.
Both are less a trade or auction. Basically, you need the 14 and you need the 13 in order to be able to afford the full price.
So,
Okay.
Whether it's trade
Whether
or
it's trade or
auction,
auction.
at least.
thank you.
You can get more auction. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. So you're good with that, Art?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll make sure I get the numbers and we'll get these, once I find out a tentative delivery date, I can, set up to see about, there'll probably be, we'll probably have a meeting before that anyways,
Okay,
before that happens.
Okay.
Bring more details.
great. Let's see, next. Now there were no additional other than what's on the agenda?
I was gonna make a motion about appointing the.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Laura Lee Whitlock, Brian Sweet, Sean Kent, and Charlie Bosberg to the comprehensive steering committee, comprehensive plan steering committee.
Is there a second?
Because we can't hear Betty, can she repeat that?
Betty made a motion to appoint Laura Lee Whitlock, Charlie Bosberg, Brian Sweet, and Sean Cotton to the Comprehensive Planning Committee.
Thank you.
I have a question. How many members does that bring us to now? Do you know?
We have to either second or not and then have a discussion.
Is there a second?
I'm not sure what the total is.
Watch, wait, Neil's not out here yet. I know.
You know, Betty made the, a motion to appoint, the members she had previously recommended to the Comprehensive Planning Committee. There was no second, unless you would like to second that.
In other words, we did not second the motion at this particular time.
Not to put you on the spot.
I think I will second that.
Okay.
I think I will.
Thank you.
My question was, how many folks are on that committee at this time and you would be heading for?
I'm not sure what the total is.
Could I ask Nancy
Do you know
a
Nancy?
question?
There's approximately 8 to 10 people now. Charlie Vosberg and Brian Sweet were originally invited. And Brian Sweet didn't respond to us, and Charlie Vosberg has been contacted. The other two folks were not part of the original invitation. I don't think the committee has any objection to any more additional members.
Thank you for that
People
answer.
who can represent the town and have a good conversation to go forward with our planning would be wonderful.
And I did speak to Brian Sweet, and he said he would be interested. He didn't know if he could attend all the meetings, but he would try to do his best. And the other two members are here, Sean Cotton and Laura Lee Whitlock, and I believe they're interested as well, so. And I believe we sent out 50-some letters, and we've only gotten 8 out of the committee.
Folks.
So 4 more, I believe, would be an asset.
Yeah, I agree.
I would not, I would prefer to either table or hold some of the nominations until the current steering committee gets to look over the people that were just newly introduced.
Well, they were already contacted, right? Except for
Yeah,
one?
have you spoken to you've spoken to Charlie and you've spoken to Brian, or invited those two. But as for the other 2 members, have you spoken to them, and have they been to the steering committee meeting, or have?
I understand
Yeah.
Sean was at the last meeting. I wasn't there. I'm not familiar with this other.
Okay, so we don't know what we don't have any input or non-input from the steering committee or the planning board on the additional member. I just want to follow procedure because it's your bailiwick, and we shouldn't jump the gun and appoint someone that you guys haven't met.
She just said she didn't have any
I'm on the
objection.
steering
Oh, come
committee,
on.
so they
I
said they have to
understand,
bring
but-
it to the meeting.
But did the whole committee know about all 4 people? Have they all met them, and do they know them? Nancy seems to say no, so I'm just asking, maybe we should table for 1 month the additional people that were not originally invited until the next planning
Just a
board
point of
meeting.
information, it's not tabled, there was a second, so there will be a vote on this tonight.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Can I just clarify something?
yes,
My personal understanding is that it's not our committee to decide who's on it or not. It's the planning board makes those appointments. The planning board appointed, the town
Council.
board makes those appointments. The planning board was appointed to be the beginning of the steering committee, and we were charged with adding members, of which we did. A number of people expressed at the meeting that we needed more residents to be on the committee, that we needed more representation, which is why there was continual reaching out to Charlie, who represents Historic Society. I really doubt seriously the entire committee has objections to additional members. There's probably some underlying concerns about this being an election year, but as much as possible, the comprehensive board, the comprehensive steering committee should and hopefully will set aside political issues to really come together around the committee. So
Okay.
I really have no negative feelings about any of these additional members being.
I just didn't want to force people on you without you guys knowing what's going on. That's all. That was my feeling. Okay.
yeah, so as of today, my vote would be no on this, for two reasons. One, I think that, and are actually related. One is, I think participation is really important in this process. And if two of the members were previously contacted and there wasn't a response, that gives me some concern that there won't be active participation. So I would just like to see an assurance from those two members that they're, this is not something that's gonna happen overnight. It's a long-term process, yeah.
Charlie Vosberg wasn't contacted and didn't respond. We weren't able to get a hold of him. Every time we went to his farm, he wasn't there.
Oh, okay, so
So-
he didn't get like a letter
But Brian
or-
Sweet did get a letter and did not
Okay,
respond.
all right. But it still remains, I'd like to have assurance that what we don't want is we really want broad active participation, but what we don't want is, a large committee of people who don't show up, because what happens when one person doesn't show up is everybody else thinks they don't have to show up, and then you end up, you kind of end up in a situation where you don't have the input that you originally intended. The second is that, again, this is, participation is key. This is a very long-term process, and this is, whether we like to, whether we want to admit to it or not, elections and politics play a role, and I'm afraid that while, because we're in the middle of, we're running up to election season, and one of the members is somebody who's running for office, I don't know if that participation willingness will continue after November, depending on what happens with the election. So I would just say, wait till after the election, wait till all of that blows over, and if there's still interest and participation, we're talking about less than a month from now, just a couple of weeks. If the interest is still there, at our next board meeting, then, great, but I don't wanna jump the gun here. Any other discussion on this?
The steering committee doesn't meet till after the election, right? Anyways, our next meeting.
Or is it the second Wednesday of every month?
Oh, so it would meet before, but,
No.
The day after.
No, the day
No,
after.
the
is
after,
next
day
Wednesday.
after.
The planning board meets.
The planning board's next Wednesday.
would anybody who, Betty or Neil, would you, be willing to table this decision until next month?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah, okay, so I'll make the motion to table until next month.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? I'm sorry, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, great, thank you, and thank you to the folks who are willing to participate. This is a big project, and I think everybody's excited about it. Anything else that wasn't on the agenda? Decisions. Otherwise, I move forward with the consent, agenda this evening.
No?
Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
One more thing. If we're in the middle of all this, we need to make a motion to let them do the work for the, dig up the pipe.
that's the one
Oh,
I'm forgetting.
yes.
Yep. I
That-
knew- I
that's
had it
where
in
I
my
was,
mind,
okay?
that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so
Okay.
we need, okay, yes. Motion to approve, work with the village to replace copper pipe and installation. I'm sorry, and insulation.
I'll make that motion.
Do we
Second.
Do we need anything more on
We
it?
need
No,
a
do you
discussion.
wanna give it a dollar value for the pipe and or the insulation, or can we leave it open?
It needs to be approved, through the abstracts at any rate, if it's,
Okay,
you know, like,
I just didn't know.
it-
Okay.
as long as it's the few $100s that they quoted, otherwise there's a bidding process, so,
Oh, yeah, but, copper tubing, I mean, insulation can't cost all that much.
yeah.
I wouldn't
And you
think
can-
so.
And you can sleeve it, you can also put, a bigger pipe around it, so it's got airspace, which is a good
I'd like
insulator.
to see that. Really briefly, when my house was put there, I only have someplace 2.5 to 3 feet below grade. That's all I've got. And what Joe Battisti did, we dug down, hit stone, he laid sand, then he laid, of course, this, gotta remember, this is 1986. We laid shingles, 4-inch tube, conduit, and then sand, shingles on top of this. 3 or 4 layers, and I've never frozen.
You better knock on wood.
Well,
Now that you mentioned it, it's gonna
yeah, I
happen.
probably shouldn't have said nothing, 'cause since 1986, it's never happened, but this year it will.
Okay.
Are we ready to vote here?
Sure.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Did we have?
Chris,
Sorry.
Chris, are you gonna, propose, test holes?
I introduced those resolutions and then we're tabling them to next month,
Okay.
okay?
Gotcha.
We need the motion to approve the justice report.
I'll second. Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We need to, the motion to approve the abstract.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We need a motion to authorize me, supervisor, to enter into agreement with Glen Animal Hospital for a fee of $500 to act as emergency veterinarian.
I make that motion.
I will second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And then we need, unless there's any other discussion, we need the motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you.
Before you all leave, I'd like to say something. Every time Betty tries to answer Neil, you have an arrogance of somebody over here named Chris that always cuts her off. And I find that very, very rude.
I don't think I do.
You cut her off every time.
Public comment.